A story of a man who chased silence thinking it might heal him, and instead found himself in a neighborhood where silence had a price and perfection had a prison. The morning he arrived in the new neighborhood, the world looked freshly washed. Painted fences, perfect lawns, houses identical like copies of the same dream. It should have felt peaceful. Instead, it felt supervised. Like every breath taken here needed permission. Beside him stood his daughter, small hands running along the old Mustang that carried their past like metal, remembering both joy and grief. That car wasn't just a vehicle. It was memories, laughter, fights, long drives with someone who wasn't there anymore. The kind of person you don't lose, you carry. He'd lost his wife, but not her presence. Welcome back to my channel, HOA Tales. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Now, let's dive into the story. Boxes lay open around them. Clothes, books, pieces of a life left behind. And inside one box, the photograph, a woman smiling through yesterday. The daughter noticed it, but didn't touch. Children learn grief not through words, but through the way their fathers go quiet. Inside, the house echoed like a heart still learning rhythm. Empty walls waiting for sound. Rooms waiting for life. It didn't take long for the first sign to arrive. A paper on the mailbox, polite font, sharp tone. A rule broken, though he didn't know which. The grass too long, been too forward, mailbox not standard shade. It was only one warning. One warning is how control begins. The neighborhood seemed perfect, painfully perfect. People walked like they were measured, spoke like they were approved. A woman in a purple suit appeared often, clipboard in hand, steps precise, eyes sharp. She didn't need to speak to feel authoritative. Her silence was enough. Soon, the letters increased. Fines for mailbox color, notices for the car, demands for paint polishing, threats wrapped in polite formatting. Perfection wasn't expectation here. It was requirement. The daughter slowly stopped drawing wings on the Mustang. She started drawing walls. Day by day, pressure tightened, like invisible ropes around their home. Patrol carts moved late into the night, flashlights touching windows like suspicions searching for shape. Control didn't hide. It watched. By the 10th day, silence wasn't calm. It was warning. But storms come not only from sky, sometimes from spirit. Weeks passed. Notices piled. He said nothing. He didn't fight, he endured. And endurance scare systems built on obedience. Then one night, thunder broke the quiet like truth finally speaking. Rain hit rooftops like drums. The sky cracked open, as if the heavens themselves were tired of rules printed on paper. The father stepped outside, without umbrella, letting rain wash over him, not to cleanse, to wake. That night was different. Windows opened, curtains parted, neighbors watched. Control weakens when people witness it. The next morning, a final notice came, bold, red, merciless. Mandatory compliance hearing. Failure to obey will result in action. It wasn't a warning anymore. It was a threat. The daughter saw it, and instead of crying, she drew, not walls, not storms. She drew people, many, together, because she sensed what the world often forgets. Rules hold power only when people stand alone. The day of the hearing, he entered the hall alone, but did he? At first seat, he sat silent, strong, ready. The HOA read violations like scripture. Mailbox shade wrong. Car unapproved. Grass height inconsistent. They spoke like power. He listened like truth. Then footsteps echoed. A neighbor walked in. Then another, and another, until the room was no longer empty. It was witness. And authority trembled. By the end of hearing, HOA expected surrender. But something far more dangerous happened. People woke up. He returned home, not victorious, not defeated, changed. Next day, contractors arrived to seize the Mustang. Gloves ready, chains ready, engines humming like verdict. And for a moment, the world stopped breathing. The father stepped forward, still, calm, unmoving. Neighbors stepped out one by one, not yelling, not violent, just present. And presence is power. The contractors hesitated, tools lowered. Orders dissolved. The purple-suited woman watched as control slipped between her fingers like rain. Something shattered inside her, not anger, but realization. You cannot govern people who remember they belong to themselves. And that day they remembered. Then came the moment. He turned the key. The Mustang, silent for years, roared like thunder-breaking chains. Not an engine, a heartbeat. The daughter climbed inside. The neighborhood watched, not in fear, in respect. As the tires rolled forward, the HOA stepped back, not by choice, by collapse, because authority only exists until someone stops believing in it. And he didn't run. He drove forward, into sky, into road, into freedom. The neighborhood behind him changed forever. Lawns grew imperfect. Kids laughed loud. People spoke without permits. Some nights the purple-suited woman walked streets slowly. No clipboard, no fines. Just someone finally learning how to breathe. Because freedom doesn't arrive in explosions. It arrives in ignition. A key twisting. An engine roaring. A man deciding enough is enough. He didn't escape the neighborhood. He freed it. And somewhere across highways, motels, sunsets, his daughter still draws the road. Not bounded, not fenced. Wide enough to heal. Because some roads are not traveled to reach a place. They're traveled to remember who we are when no one is watching. I hope you like the story. For more intriguing stories, please subscribe our channel and also click on bell button.